So he brought 70,000 magicians to compete with him. Each had stick and rope. So the magician said to him, "Oh, you want to start, Musa?" Musa said, "No, you start." So the magicians threw their stick and rope and came snakes. It was everywhere. But Musa was afraid. But then Allah said, "Don't be afraid, just throw your stick." Then Musa threw a stick and it came a big real snake that ate everything, literally. So then Allah started testing them. So then the water was gone, all the food was gone, and nothing was left. So Pharaoh said, "If your Rabb releases from this problem, we'll become mu'mineen." So Musa did dua, but they still did not. Then Allah sent the lice in their clothes, in their eyes, in their mouth, in their hair. It was everywhere. So then Pharaoh said again, if your Rabb releases from this problem, we'll become mu'mineen.
Slow down.
We will become mu'mineen. So Musa did dua again, but they still did not. Then Allah sent the frog. Even when they opened their mouth, the frog jumped in their mouth. The frog was in their clothes and their hair in their beds, everywhere again. So then Pharaoh said again, if your Rabb releases from this problem, we will become mu'mineen. Then again Musa did dua, but still did not. They were liars.
Slow down. Let the people understand. Most of them, Arab and Bengali, we don't understand your language. Slow down.
So then Allah sent the blood. The blood was, any liquid they took out was just turned into blood. So then Pharaoh said, once again, if your Rabb releases from this problem, we become mu'mineen. And they still did not. Again, they were cheap, they were liars. So then Allah said to him, "Take Ben Israel with you to go." Wait, before that, the magician said, "Oh no, this is not magic, this is miracle." So then they started making sujood to Allah and said, "Amanna bi Rabbil Alameen." But they didn't want the people to know that they're talking about Pharaoh. So they say, Rabbi Musa wa Harun. So then Pharaoh said, "You make sujood to him before you ask my permission." So then he killed all the magicians. So then Allah said to him, "Take Ben Israel with you to go to Palestine." So after Fajr, he took the many people from Ben Israel to Palestine. But then Pharaoh's spies told him that Ben Israel was leaving. So they reached the ocean, the water was in front of them, and behind them was Pharaoh. So this Israel said, "Oh, you don't have to do this, we were living a good life." But Musa said, "No, my Rabb was with me. So Allah said, hit the water with your stick. So he hit the water with his stick and it came 12 roads. So Ben Israel started crossing the roads. But Pharaoh thought it was safe for him, but it didn't. So when Ben Israel finished crossing, it was closing on them and everyone drowned. Pharaoh said, "Amantu, I believe in the Rabb." Ben Israel believes in and they were right. But then Allah said, "Al-an" means too late. Al-an means too late. So he said, "I will save your body for generations. I'll let you drown, I'll save your body for generations." Now for generations, you will still see Pharaoh in the Egyptian museum that he's not Rabbil Alameen. Thank you for listening to me. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Takbir. Sit down, please. Now, mashallah, brother Ahmed, Congress, mashallah. Takbir. Slow down because the people didn't understand your language. Not you, I mean my son. So the same thing is slow down, let the people understand your language.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ahmed Conger and today I would like to talk about Musa alayhi salam, the Prophet of Allah. He was titled the bravest prophet. Here's his story. A long time ago, there was an evil king who was known as Pharaoh or Pharaoh, And one day he saw a vision that a fire came out of Jerusalem and killed everybody except the children of Israel. The next day, Pharaoh told his people, his subjects, and one of them said, you're going to kill all the babies of children of Israel, therefore you will lose all your manpower. It's better to kill all the children of Israel 1 year and then spare them the next year and then kill them and then so on and so forth. Pharaoh found it to be safer economically. During the time that which the children of Israel were being spared, Musa's mother gave birth to Aaron alayhi salam. Thus she nursed him publicly and safely. Unfortunately, during the time where the children of Israel should be killed, she gave birth to Musa alayhi salam, which she was terrified that Pharaoh's army would kill them all. Will kill him. So she nursed him secretly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to her to make a basket and put Musa alayhi salam in the water. Hardly had the revelation finished when Musa's mother obeyed the sacred and merciful call. The basket didn't touch the water when Allah said that, "O water, be calm for Musa alayhi salam as he's going to be a prophet one day." The water obeyed. Musa's mother sent her sister to follow the basket up to the bank. When it landed to the bank at Pharaoh's palace, Pharaoh's wife picked him up and she was overjoyed. Pharaoh's wife was different from Pharaoh. Pharaoh was a tyrant, she was merciful, and all that. Pharaoh's wife picked the baby up and said to Pharaoh, we found a son, let's adopt him. Pharaoh said, okay. Pharaoh's wife ordered a lot of wet nurses, but Musa alayhi salam didn't take any of their milk and cried and cried and cried. She had a few more wet nurses. She had a few more wet nurses come, and she still didn't take any of their milk. Then his sister found out that he hadn't had milk in a long time. Pharaoh and his wife asked why was she following the basket? She said that she followed the basket out of curiosity. The excuse sounded reasonable. She said, go and fetch. She said, I know a wet nurse that can take care of this young child. She said, okay, go find her. She found her mother, who was worried and anxious about the baby boy. She said that to come to Pharaoh's palace. She came and took Musa and the baby boy took her milk. Pharaoh asked, how come the child haven't took any milk but yours? Why? Had she told the truth, Pharaoh would have known Musa was Israel and killed him instantly. But she said, I am a woman of sweet milk, and no child refuses me. And she was his wet nurse for a few years. Musa was raised as a prince. There was an incident that happened when Musa was playing on Pharaoh's lap and he took the beard of Pharaoh. Pharaoh yelled, ouch! And then realized that it's Israel. And then he set two plates. One was going cold and another with some things. And Musa reached for the plate that had something, but Gabriel directed his arms for the going cold. Musa then couldn't speak. give a speech, but still he was spared by the Pharaoh. One day he was walking in the main city until he saw an Egyptian beating up one of the children of Israel. The Israel asked, "What? Will you help me?" And then Musa became a wall in the dispute. He struck the Egyptian and he fell down. Musa then realized that he killed a man accidentally. He paid for a love for forgiveness. The next day, he walked in the main city again, and then he found an Israel battling another Egyptian. The Israel said to Musa, "Musa, you're a wholesome fellow. Why didn't you kill me like you killed the Egyptian yesterday? You're getting involved in a dispute one after another." The Egyptian heard this remark and reported him to the authorities. Then Musa was walking in the city, and then a believer came and said, Musa, Pharaoh's gonna kill you." So he took off without going to the Pharaoh's palace to change his clothes, and he wasn't with a caravan. When he came to the city of Midian, which he was going to, he found two women shepherding. Musa asked, "What's wrong? Aren't we supposed to shepherd?" She said, "We cannot push men." And he asked, "Why isn't your..." And she said, and the second sister said, "Our father's too weak to herd some sheep." So Musa took the sheep and found a rock that 10 men had to lift. When Musa was strong, and he lifted himself and let the sheep drink, and then put the rock back where it was. And he went under the tree to relax. At that moment, he forgotten to drink. His stomach was sunken because of hunger. The sister arrived earlier than usual to find their dad. And one of the sisters said, "We found a trustworthy man who's strong." And the father said, "Bring him." So one of the sisters went to Musa, and when she said to follow her, Musa insisted that she should follow him to avoid seeing her look. And then the father was impressed, and he said, "You should work for me for 8 or 10 years." So he did 10 long years. And then one day he was homesick, and he said, "Tomorrow we must leave to Egypt." His wife said, there are about 1,000 dangers of Egypt that had not been revealed. However, she obeyed her husband. So he went and he saw a fire in the mountains. He said, "I shall fetch a fire there to warm us." So he went up the mountain, and the merciful said, "O Musa, I know Allah, the Lord of the universe, take your shoes off." So he did. And then he said, What's that in your right hand, O Musa?" He said, "That's a staff which I lean and raise a vessel for a seed, and so on and so forth." He said, "Drop the staff," and then it became a snake. Allah said, "Fear not." And then it came back to a staff. And then when he dragged his hand, and then he dragged his hand on the bottom of the chin, and then it became glowing white. He said, "Go to the side." And Musa said, I killed an Egyptian, and Pharaoh was gonna kill me." He said, "Fear not, Musa." And he said, "Can I be Harun?" Because he can't give a speech very well. Allah said, "Okay." And so the two brothers went to Pharaoh and fighting, and then Pharaoh said, "What you came here for?" And Musa said, I want you to live the truth that Israel to me." He said, "Why not? Those are my slaves." And he said, "They're the slaves of love." And Pharaoh asked her tactfully, "Is your name Musa?" And he said, "Yeah." Then he asked questions about his past, as to horrify him. Are you not the Musa who he picked up in the back as a helpless baby? The Musa who he took, the Musa who killed an Egyptian, the Musa who my wife picked up, the Musa who killed the Egyptian man. It said that killing is the act of disbelief. You are a disbeliever. You came to speak to me, Musa. Musa, what were you trying to speak to me? I forgot. Musa knew he was mentioning his past. He said, I have been forgiven, Pharaoh. Pharaoh, now this believer I only went astray. Allah has not yet given the revelation to me. And then he threw his stick, or his staff, and then it became a snake, and he drew his staff upon his chin, and it became white. Pharaoh said, ha ha, that's magic. And then Musa said, it's not magic. And then he said, shut up, Musa. I have two magicians who are better than you. The next day, everyone came to watch the battle between the best magicians and the Musa. And then he said, Musa asked the magicians to go first, and they threw their rocks and became a snake. Everybody, Pharaoh spent upon loudly. Then Musa threw his staff, and it became a snake. Everyone cranked their heads for a better look. Pharaoh turned a maid, and then they ate in all of the other snakes. When he said the truth, the magician said, we believe in the Lord of Moses and Aaron. Pharaoh said, submit back to religion of mine, but they wouldn't. They took long to believe. No longer hiding his cruel nature. He said that he'll chop their hands off, chop their hands and feet off, and death to his subjects. A few years later, everybody just stood there for a long time. If everybody just go and took a piece of breaking thread, Pharaoh, he would have been dead, and the history of Egypt would have changed. This obviously did not happen though. Everyone just stood there, staring. Later, the patriots fight for the stupidity. There a job later. Pharaoh called his subjects. Haman. He said, oh Haman. Somebody said, oh, and then Haman said, and then Pharaoh said that somebody accused me of lying. And then Haman fell on his knees and said, who dares to accuse Pharaoh lying? And then he said, Musa said there was another God. He said, and then Haman said, Musa is lying. And then he said, they built a tower to let me see the Lord of Musa. This is mentioned in the Quran. And Haman said, okay, Your Majesty, but let me just object to you for the first time. There is no God but you. At that, he declared his famous line, O my chiefs, you now know that there's no ilah, God, other than me, as mentioned in the Quran. And then Haman said, are you gonna do something about it? And he said, hear me my thoughts, Haman. Go kill the sons, rape the women, and then kill whoever objects to them. And that's what they did. Killed the sons, rape the women, and then killed whoever objected to his actions. There was a believer, and then they said, how come Musa won? A few years later, and he said, if it was because some major magician had came to him as far as his battle plan, and he said, okay, then we'll kill whoever had something to do with that battle plan. He said, the army said that they'll do something about it when Pharaoh said so. He said, the royal army I didn't get the role of the army yet. His role will come pretty soon. There was a man who was a believer, and he said, Musa said that there was only one God, and either he's a righteousness, he was part of the righteous, or a liar. If he's a liar, he'll be responsible for his lie. If he's telling the truth, then how can we escape from the torment of Allah? He's Allah. And then Pharaoh said, and then Pharaoh said blah blah blah, and then Haman said, "You're only inviting our doom." Pharaoh vowed to kill the believer, but Allah saved him. There was a man named Korah, and he had a lot of wealth and lived with mansion. His wealth, he wore only the most expensive clothes. Later, his wealth made him become arrogant. He treated the children poorly, and then Musa said, "Yeah, don't forget to pay your alms to the poor. Allah made you rich." And then he calculated, and he was shocked to see how much he had to pay to the poor. Not only did he rejected to pay the alms he had to pay, but he also started to ruin that Musa invented the laws of calf for his own good. Allah warned Musa about Quran's plan, and Musa asked Allah to destroy him. So the earth swallowed him up, his mansion and his wealth, as he had never ever existed, never. And then he said and then Egypt suffered by a drought and a flood. And then locusts and lies and then blood. Every time something horrible happened, the people ran to Musa and said, clear out this destruction, and then we'll let the children of Israel go. He prayed to them 7 times. He prayed 7 times. He prayed to Allah to remove the harshness 7 times. And he said, but still they were liars. One day, and then Allah said, Musa, the next day you'll take the children of Israel with you. That means it's the end of Pharaoh. The next day, they went to the Red Sea, and then the children of Israel said, here's this impossible barrier, a sea. Pharaoh's we should be killed by Pharaoh's army, not to surrender themselves back to slavery. Moses said, my brother's with me, and then Allah asked Moses to strike the sea with the staff, and then the sea rose up like 2 great mountains. Pharaoh's army saw a miracle, but being the pretender Pharaoh said, look, the sea opened by the red, like a flood of rebels and arrest them. So they crossed the Red Sea, and then the sea opened the ground. He said, La ilaha illallah, I believe, which the children of Israel believe, and then Allah rejected it, and he said his